Well, unless you live under a rock, you know that the society is becoming increasingly more litigious, while some people who are tasked with writing and enforcing the law are willingly violating it as we speak.
Literally as we speak. But joining us now, former acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. Good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be with you.
It's great having you as always. You know, the House Speaker now, Kevin McCarthy, he's set to release the full January 6 tapes. I get it. A lot of people have been asking for him, but is this the right decision right now?
Well, eventually it's going to get out, and I think there's no better time than the present. You know, what we've learned about January 6th, a lot was not learned through the committee. You know, there was no review of the security posture and the decisions that were made leading up to that day. And I think it also depends a little bit on, you know, kind of where you were in the Capitol as to what was happening. We've talked many times before on this show and others about how, you know, political violence is never acceptable. But I think it is important to, you know, produce and distribute everything that's out there. I mean, that was kind of the purpose of the January 6th committee, and I think they've completely failed in this regard.
Yeah, and I believe sunlight's the best medicine. But I want to recap something here, okay? The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging from the freedom of speech. Goes on. Now, if a congressman goes to a private company, standing on his title of being a congressman, and tells them to suppress speech, is this not a violation of their oath?
Well, not only is it a violation of their oath, it's a violation of federal law. I mean, you know, your point is absolutely true, which is the government cannot use corporations to do things that they can't do themselves. And, you know, trying to silence free speech and silence voices in America is unconstitutional. And it's really disappointing as these Twitter files and other social media platforms reveal what was happening during, you know, kind of the end of the Trump administration. You know, it's just really disappointing how many of our constitutional rights were violated.
But sir, here's the problem is, you know, elected officials, we're seeing with the DOJ and the ATF right now with this pistol brace thing and the bump stock ban, where these people just do this stuff and they're like, oh, it's unconstitutional, too bad, we'll move on to the next thing, we'll try it again. Is there any mechanism other than voting these people out? Because when you live in a D35 district, you're never going to lose your seat as a Democrat. Is there any mechanism for criminality for these people for violating what they swore to uphold?
You know, that's a great question, Carl. I mean, I think ultimately we have to get back to regular order in all these things, whether it's, you know, to your point on firearm regulation, whether it's on free speech. We need to get to a system where instead of the executive branch, you know, passing executive orders and regulations, that Congress actually works, passes laws. The laws are clear. And are not delegating power back to the bureaucracy. And so once we get to that, I think we're going to be much better off than what we've become now, which is a, you know, kind of a system that's too big. Congress doesn't do the hard work of passing laws that make people's lives better. And so the bureaucracy is empowered. I think the Supreme Court is onto this. We've talked about the EPA West Virginia case, which I think is a good first step on the major issues doctrine that ultimately is going to put this genie back in the bottle. But Carl, there's a lot of work to do, man.
You know, I'm not sure we can put the genie back in the bottle. You know, Matt, one of the biggest issues I remember being in Congress, there is no more regular order. And for the people watching, what does that mean? Well, number one, let's start with the budget. You're supposed to pass 12 appropriations bills. Now, why is that pertinent to what we're speaking about? Carl, the dirty little secret is when people come, whomever it is, the head of whatever agency, whatever alphabet agency you want, when they come into Congress before a committee, they just speak like lawyers. They don't answer any more questions. And people say, why has this been happening? Because Congress can't cut their budget. They have no more. Congress's only authority is really the power of the purse strings. So if you're the FBI director, you don't answer any questions. You're the CIA director, you don't answer any questions. Why? Because they can never cut your budget because there's no regular order. So until we get back to passing budgets and regular order, none of these agencies will be held accountable and it will continue to run amok.
Matt, last word to you, sir.
That was a great point. I share exactly what was said, and I think we are going. Hopefully, that's what Speaker McCarthy is doing right now, is getting back to passing budgets, to holding the administrative state accountable, and to leveraging the purse strings to get these agencies like the FBI to do their jobs instead of playing politics.
Yeah, noble concept there. That would be that would be nice to see. Matthew Whitaker, we appreciate you being here, sir.
All right, thanks, guys.